Have you ever discovered that you're legally married to a complete stranger without ever signing a single paper? That's exactly what happened to me, and I still remember the moment my world tilted entirely, when I opened an email from the government registry and saw my name next to a man I had never met, his name stamped across the screen as if fate itself had made a bureaucratic mistake, a 6-month-old legal marriage that I had no memory of, and my first instinct was to laugh, then panic, then wonder if somehow my life had become the plot of a bizarre romantic comedy I hadn't auditioned for, because how do you even process being married on paper to someone you've never seen, never talked to, someone who might be terrifying, boring, or wonderful, and yet whose existence now felt uncomfortably tied to yours? I decided I couldn't ignore it, couldn't pretend it wasn't real, so I arranged to meet him at a neutral cafe somewhere halfway between our apartments, heart-pounding with a mixture of dread and curiosity, imagining dozens of scenarios from him being rude and distant to hilariously awkward. And when he finally walked in, tall, slightly nervous, smiling at me in a shy, hesitant way, my chest flipped because suddenly this stranger, whose name had been legally paired with mine, felt human, real, tangible, and somehow impossibly inviting, like the universe had made a mistake but left a hint of magic buried inside it. We started talking, tentatively at first, about the absurdity of the situation, sharing awkward jokes and polite laughs, but as the minutes passed, I began noticing the little things, the quirks that made him who he was, the nervous way he fiddled with his coffee cup, the intensity in his eyes when he explained his obsession with vinyl records, the warmth of his laugh when he finally relaxed, and I realized with a thrill that I was already fascinated, drawn to him in ways that made no logical sense, but felt utterly inevitable, like gravity had quietly shifted to pull us together. Over the next few meetings, the awkwardness melted into something far more intimate than either of us expected, wandering through bookstores, art exhibits, and quiet parks, sharing childhood stories, embarrassing memories, fears, and hopes, and every word, every glance, every accidental brush of hands built a connection that no legal document could ever capture, because suddenly I wasn't thinking about paperwork or mistakes. I was thinking about him, about the way my heart raced when he smiled, about the subtle electricity in the silence between our conversations, about how quickly I had started caring for him, inexplicably, undeniably. There was playful teasing, laughter over misinterpreted paintings, shared coffees under rainy skies, and quiet moments where he looked at me with an intensity that made my chest ache and my thoughts scatter. And I knew, with a thrill and a fear I couldn't ignore, that I was falling for someone I had technically never planned to meet, someone whose quirks and warmth had quietly carved a place in my heart. And yet it wasn't just me. The spark between us was mutual, undeniable, the unspoken pull of two people drawn together by circumstance but held by choice, curiosity, and the faint thrill of something extraordinary forming in the mundane. Then one evening, standing together on a dimly lit street under the glow of city lights, he finally said it. I know this started as a mistake, a clerical error, but I can't ignore what's grown between us. I think I'm falling for you. And my chest leapt because I had been feeling exactly the same way. And hearing him admit it, so quietly, so perfectly, made the impossible real. Made this absurd journey feel like destiny. Made my heart finally brave enough to respond with the truth I'd been holding back. I thought I was the only one. And just like that, the accidental marriage became something real, intentional, and magical. A story that had started on paper but had grown into something far more vivid, far more thrilling, far more beautiful. A love story born from a mistake, but carried forward by two hearts that refused to ignore the pull between them, proving that sometimes the most unexpected beginnings can lead to the most extraordinary endings, and that love doesn't always follow rules, contracts, or logic. Sometimes it just arrives, quietly,